welcome back to this week's episode of Beyond the Ballot with your BTB Pod Squad. Myself, Nadira, we got London and Leland. And we have a special guest today. London, you want to introduce us to our special guest?
Yes. I'm coming live from 901 Nyland's Playpen Drive. I'm here with the baby senator himself, the leader of the household. The reason why I'm taking this podcast call from inside the playpen. Baby Senator Nylund is here. So, woo! Okay.
Because we let a
He'll
kid.
be joining us today.
Okay, so let's get started with we'll start in our pop culture entertainment side of things. We got some news that we lost one. Rich Homie Kwan out of Atlanta, rapper. Leland, I'll start with you on like how this hits you as a Black man and representing for the culture.
So it really just hits home more so about like his age to see another young black man, whether that's like from unnecessary causes like gun violence and stuff like that, or just unnatural is what I call it, unnatural causes for him to be so young and end up passing away. Uh, it really speaks towards the fact that I actually know plenty of people who never got to see 35, and like what is the new generation really living through and experiencing that we aren't getting to see 35 years of age. Like that's only a third of your life, and what would be a perfect world where it's like you live to be 99 or 100 years old, to not live to make it to 35 is wild to think about. And so seeing seeing him pass away really just made me realize that like whether you're getting money, whether you broke, whether you are loved, whether you are emotionally available, like regardless of all these things that the world is telling you that's important for you to heal and to be in touch with and in tune with, at the end of the day, if you're not ready for what come next after life, then you need to get your life together because tomorrow's not promised to any of us. And that's what really hearing the news about Rich Homie Kwan, rest his soul, really meant to me, because there's a lot of people that over the years, again, like I said, I've seen people that I went to high school with never make it to 35. And so it just keeps hitting home that, hey, tomorrow's not promised. Tell your homies that you love them. Tell the people that you love them, because you could not wake up tomorrow.
Okay, I didn't know if you was gonna go into Pastor Leland mode. If we
Oh,
was
you,
about
hey, look, I'm a PK. I'm a whole PK. So
okay. London, how do you feel about the news and oh, London, you're on mute.
Sorry, I put myself on mute just in case he started whining. But like I was saying, I'm very devastated at the news. Anytime you hear about someone in the hip hop industry who's been so impactful to the work, to the culture, lose their life, is definitely tragic. And I feel sorry for those who loved him, his children, his family, his girlfriend, his side pieces who came out on video. Jesus, all of those, impacted by his work and what he's done. And then it's also like, I'm also kind of disappointed at the hip hop culture's infatuation with drug use. They talk about it in the songs. I recently saw an interview that resurfaced of Rich Homie Kwan talking about how he started using drugs to stay up for his shows. And
mhm.
I'm also trying to, and he said someone in his circle, a family member, gave it to him, who was on the road with them. So I also want to point out to the hip hop community is that y'all are not doing a good job of protecting our artists and making sure they are living a healthier lifestyle to be able to have this long-term impact on the game. Like, y'all know you're overworking these folks, underpaying them, putting them on drugs, and not putting folks in their circle who are going to protect them. And he obviously didn't have good people in his circle who were protecting him, which has caused him to use to use drugs. Now, allegedly, they think it was fentanyl laced pills that he had. And, I do want to continue to say, like, while I'm an advocate for marijuana, you okay? While I'm an advocate for marijuana use, but there also has to be us talking about, like, we got to stop all these pill popping, lean, all these extra type of drugs that are being glorified in the hip hop community. It's going to kill you. Fentanyl is real out here. And so we gotta have the hard conversation about, y'all, that's not cool. Like,
But
you know,
even in saying advocating for the marijuana use, I've heard like that you have to be careful even how you're sourcing that, because now they have like strains of marijuana that's laced still with fentanyl. Like, so
yep.
it was a couple of weeks ago, like some guy was kind of like on live, but he was smoking like a L, and it had fentanyl in it, and he like died on camera. And so
Wow.
in this
Mm,
situation, like the insurance company is saying that they're not going to pay out his policy because they're saying it was suicide, because it's like
mm.
he laced it and that's why he was going live. But people go live for everything all day, like every day. So I was like, okay,
Was he in a legal state? Was he in a legal or non-legal state?
I'm
that
gonna
I'm
say
because I can't even remember where this story came from, but it just made me think, because like that made me nervous. I was like, okay, because I was like, don't nobody overdose on smoking marijuana, and they were like,
Right.
no, because it was like laced with fentanyl, and I was
Well,
like,
I
okay,
heard
we're
that,
doing that.
and that's why I am a proponent of legalization, is because, like, when in legal states, you have distributors who are held to certain standards, making
Yeah,
sure the weed is clean, that it's not laced. So when you buy from these distributors and stores as if it was alcohol, it's
what the
supposed to be
product
of a
is.
certain quality.
mhm.
So when in these non-legal states, when people have to get off the street, yeah, they are more susceptible to being laced with fentanyl, because they got to keep a market flowing, and it's not being regulated by any type of laws or rules. So I'm not sitting here saying I think all drugs should be legal or whatever, but I do want to highlight, looking at this situation, the value of having legalization for certain safer drugs like marijuana, so that you can produce clean products for people if they decide to indulge.
As a person who lives in a legal state, shout out to Michigan. Um, I actually think
Straight up.
that you are like you're spot on, because when you can go to a dispensary and get exactly what you're looking for, you can go in there and say, "Hey, I'm looking for a sativa. Hey, I'm looking for a specific strand. I'm looking for a specific potency." When you can go into a store and be vulnerable with the store, because you know they are regulated by the government to provide clean marijuana, it makes it completely different than when you are trying to meet up with the drug dealer that got it shipped to him from God knows where nobody knows anything, and you just trying to get $20 worth of pie.
Yeah.
That's a big difference in um, the ability to be able to have a safe space to go buy weed or buy marijuana, smoke your marijuana in the comfort of your home, and be in a safe environment, more so than you got to go to a shady person, buy drugs from the corner store, and then take it home, and you have no idea what you really got. You don't know if you got an indica or a sativa. You don't know what strand potency it is. You don't know how long, because here it'll tell you how long it takes for it to become active in your body. Like when you start having the government support marijuana, the government is going to do more research on marijuana. And when they do more research, they can tell you more about what you're actually smoking compared to, I just know this costs $20 and whatever's in this bag, I'm going to put in this roll up and I'm going to smoke. So I definitely support the legalization of marijuana in the South. I push for that because there's so many different ways that the South could benefit from having marijuana be legalized, from like taxation of farming it to taxation of transporting it on the interstate to taxation of people who want a license to smoke it recreationally. So there's many different ways that any state in the South could actually benefit from it, but it's about having the right people in position to be able to do that.
Agreed, agreed. I just know, like, when we talk about public health and like health crisis, um, drug use is always, at the top of that list, and it's kind of whatever's the flavor of the year type of thing. And this Finney situation, I feel like it came out of nowhere. Like maybe it had been brewing for a while, but like it's hitting hard. And I think that's something, and it was like in a joking form, but like one of the things, like, people who've been on crack for years, okay? Like years. And they still like functioning, da da da. Like you get the wrong little bump of fentanyl and you dead. Like it is taking you out. So I feel like on this one, like in the community, we do need to be hyper vigilant because there's just a zero margin of grace when it comes to how this drug is reacting with people and like literally taking folks out unnecessarily. And so as much as we, glorify drug use in the community or London, like you were saying, like within the music, and part of what's like a subset of the culture, that we do have to think about like public health first, and that's like starting with you and like how you're approaching the decisions that you're making about what you put into your body, but then also, yes, in governance and how we're trying to make sure that we're protecting the people. And I want to go ahead and segue into another public health crisis. Still in Georgia, we'll keep it down in the dirty South, our cousin down the street and around the corner. Because also in Georgia, this week we had another school shooting that took the life of four people. And we can put it under the auspice of public health just due to the fact that, like for Tennessee, like gun violence is the number one killer of children, or I think that's nationally. Is that not? That's a national statistic, right?
Nationally. Yep, they just had a commercial. Number one killer of children.
Hmm,
And
hmm.
that's the statistic for Tennessee, but it's even a trend nationally. It's saying that obviously guns are a problem here,
Yeah, yeah,
and
and,
and it's
and
just so sad.
and
So I
so
was just thinking about Nadir. I'm sorry, I don't mean to
no,
cut in. It was just when you say that, it makes my blood boil because I feel like we got politicians in office who can literally do something about it, and they're literally ignoring the obvious here, or that this false idea that guns supersede the lives of people, to me is even more astonishing. I with this Georgia case, and I know I'm putting my political hat on, but you know, that school essentially had everything that the Republicans have been pushing that stops guns. They had school resource officers, locked doors, new drills, the whole nine. And that still did not stop him from being able to walk into a school and shoot people and kill four people in the process. So what is also displaying is the ineffectiveness of the solutions the Republicans have put forth in order to eradicate gun in the community. Now, I'm not against guns in regards to, yes, the right to bear arms is a real thing, but it doesn't mean that people should be freely able to just go access guns, right? Myself
Mhm.
and folks in my family, we have gone to the classes, know the education, we know how to use them, and we know the laws and the responsibility around ownership, the process that you should go through in order to access a permit. You don't get a car without passing a written and driving test. That can be considered a
Mhm.
debt item. So it's a gun. So the misalignment on how we should be approaching guns in Tennessee and across this nation is ridiculous. But I also just really my heart breaks for the parents. I am a parent of a young boy. Leland, you have young daughters. Nadir, you work quasi in the education world. Like when we think about our children in elementary, middle, and high school going to school worried about a mass shooter walking into their school, that's a trauma that parents should not have to endure, because we by law have to take our babies to these institutions of learning every
Yeah.
single day, not knowing who go walk up in there because their feelings got hurt or whatever mental issues they're dealing with, and decide to end the life of some innocent students. And so we have a
Mhm.
real problem in America, and gun laws outside of abortion is now going to be one of the largest topics people are going to the polls to vote on. And
Yeah.
even the effort of trying to not make Memphis vote on this here is also discouraging for us, but it's also gonna make us want to go to the polls even more and vote y'all out. So I hate it for Georgia, but Georgia is another case study of how we are getting it wrong when it comes to guns and our kids every day.
So, but you brought up parents, and let's talk about how Georgia might be getting it right. And this is, oh, look, and you're in Michigan. So, following what happened in Michigan too, where they're charging the father as well as the young man who,
Mhm.
inflicted this trauma on his community, because the son had already had like some run-ins with said law enforcement around. You might not be the most stable individual, whether it was he was getting bullied, because I think I kind of heard that come out, and that's a whole nother conversation, that like the things that we can do to be preventative. Like people can only take so much and they snap, right? And especially young people, because they're underdeveloped in their emotional state of being and how they process and respond. So not taking that away from the situation, because that's real and that's severe, and that could be a real preventative way to like not have folks coming into their schools to just like shoot people up. But as a parent, again, if you are aware of this, then why would you go and buy your son an AR-15? Now, also, no, we're not trying to take everybody's guns. Like, this is kind of like what America is built and bred on, right? So, like, yeah, everybody got guns. Sure, don't roll up on us. I think that's part of like the rationale, right? But does everybody and their mama need an AR-15, a Soulstar rifle? Like that part, I don't really know. Like I don't know what the purpose of me having one would be, like other than maybe I look cool when I pose with my Rambo style camouflage. But that literally, you know what I'm saying? Like, what do I need that for? And so for the father to now have to like be accountable for his part in this, if that is going to be more of a trend that we see, will that make even parents play a heavier role in ensuring that their children are getting the resources that they need around their own mental health and well-being, but also not then giving them free access to firearms where they can be of a detriment to everybody else around them, right? So like in this thing about do no harm, how do we do that? Like, yes, what are the policies that we need? We are doing a very shitty job of legislating this, yes. But then even like that individual accountability and ownership of these issues. And so even if it's not just a parent and a child, maybe it's like, your cousin, or because like also we can talk about suicide in this. This is another public health issue, and it is very much pervasive in the Black community, right? So if people are going through things not necessarily in the best state of mind, then maybe like this is a period or a season where you just don't need free access to firearms, because things escalate so quickly when you are like, this is my response or this is my go-to, versus all the other ways that we can process a situation and try to work through whatever the root of this issue is. So that's just one of the things I noticed is a little different about this case. We've seen it happen before, and I wonder if it's going to, because again, and not trying to play advance, because our Republican presidential nominee did legit say, oh, it's just the facts of life. Kids is going to get shot in school, which is crazy to me that we're normalizing it like that, because this is something that is very specific to the United States of America. Like you don't see this happening everywhere else, but that is
Mhm.
everywhere else. People don't just have guns like this. And so I don't know what the like balance is for like, yes, honoring the Second Amendment, yes, like you can have guns, but what are the exact protocols and or processes in order to make sure we are creating safe and sustainable for
And
all?
I think
Absolutely.
that
I'm sorry.
go
I
ahead.
would just say this. I just agree that the permitting system is a great way that we had in place to at least put some legit form of accountability in place. And a permitting system doesn't stop people from accessing guns. It's just saying that if you want them, then you need to show that you know how to responsibly use that. There is nothing wrong with that. And it's so crazy that they talk about rights. They talk about hindering people's voting, the right to vote, which is a constitutional right, the right to access a whole bunch of other things. But when it comes to
Healthcare.
guns, they got all these protections and things like that. So, when people tell me it's our constitutional right to have guns and all this other stuff, well, I said, well, okay, then, well, what about people's constitutional right to vote? But you put too many barriers in place for them to do that. Voter registration, ID checks, deadlines, all these other barriers for these constitutional rights, but you want to take away them for a deadly weapon. I just want to put it out there.
Yeah.
No, I fully agree. And I think that as a person who is a gun carry permit owner and a gun carrier, I do think that there is a level of security on your part to make sure that your firearms are secure and that people aren't having easy access to grab your firearm and go into these schools and shoot up the schools. Because I mean, we talking about Georgia, but I think at this point, 2 years ago, Nashville was a victim as well. And so, like, when you look at the fact that nothing is being done to prevent this, is wild to think that we continue to say, prayers, condolences, prayers, thoughts, all of that stuff. But the reality of it is, we're not really doing anything to actually change or make a difference. Again, as a person who carries a gun, I carry a pistol because I don't see myself in a militarized situation where I need a militarized weapon with a bump stock to be able to shoot multiple people. That's not my intent. My intent to carry a gun is to defend myself, defend my children, defend my family, defend my property. And so if you are a gun carrier and you take a gun carrying permit class, it does go through the laws that you, as the gun carrier, are responsible to abide by. It goes through what is legal and not legal for you to use deadly force. And it also goes through a background check to make sure that you are of a good mental space to be able to do these things. And so I don't think that it asks too much for you to be able to say, hey, prove that you're not crazy. Prove that you do, prove that you don't have a domestic violence history where you have already harmed somebody, and if you go get a gun, you can actually harm more people.
Yeah.
And then also to the point of like the specificness of the school shootings, I do think that parents need to be held accountable because again, if my daughter don't go to school 8 times, guess who's going to jail?
Yeah. You are.
Me.
Mm-hmm.
So if my daughter decides to skip school, then I can go to jail. But you mean to tell me that people who kids shoot up to school, the parents can't go to jail for that? That's ridiculous. So I do think that there is a lot of room for the advancement of gun laws in America. I'm a firm believer, like you said, we don't want to take guns away from people, but we want to make sure the people that have access to these guns, the people who are buying these guns, are not lunatics and aren't going to use them for negative reasons. I mean, it's crazy because again, even living overseas, I remember before the terrorist attack in Paris happened, I had called my homie a couple of days before and was like, "Yo, it's wild because I can walk the streets at 2 o'clock in the morning, and the worst thing that I can think about is somebody might mug me for my wallet." And it's like, that's it. Like, hey, I got a pretty strong chin. Somebody want to punch me, steal my wallet. That's cool. But like in America, the fear of literally anybody, especially in Tennessee, where it's Constitution carry, it's like literally anybody above the age of 18 could be walking around with a gun. That is concerning for many different reasons. And so, yeah, no, I definitely think that we got to do something more I mean, and I don't have that answer. That's why I'm not in those positions to be making those decisions. But we gotta figure out something that is reasonable enough that we can all come together and agree on, but also strict enough that we are actually doing something besides just saying prayers and condolences, prayers and thoughts.
Mhm. Shout out to Moms on, was it Moms on Demand for the commercial that they
Yeah.
just put out that definitely gives you the visual for
The
what,
kid drowning.
yeah, and everybody just standing around talking about thoughts and prayers.
Them
That's
in the, when they got to the part of them in the hot tub sipping they drink like prayers, thoughts, and I was like, oh yeah, no, this is hitting home because this is literally what it's like. Like at first it's all sentimental, and then after a while it's just like, oh yeah, don't forget the president from Canada is going to call you and say the exact same thing the mayor did and the governor did and the president did. So
the
it
where's that,
definitely,
where's the action? We need
yeah.
action. Yeah. Okay. All right. So over the last couple of days, I was on Netflix a little bit doing some work, but then also had a entertainment in the background. And I just want to give a shout out to some of the guys. Cheers to the boys, because they was bringing some great content. So first, I want to talk about Average Joe with Dion Cole. I don't know if anybody got a chance to watch it yet. So Dion usually, you catch him in a comedic role, but this one was more of a serious, like drama type role. But it was also funny because it's like funny, but like it's also an ensemble cast. Everybody like held up. It's about a guy and his dad like passes away, and so what he ends up finding out is that his dad was kind of like working for some mafia type folks, and he gets like pulled in this whirlwind of like trying to fight for my life. Like I'm just fighting for my life and fighting for my family's life. But then he has some really good friends who are like holding him down. And it's a series, like a limited series type of thing, but it was really good. So I would definitely tell y'all to like watch that one. And then the other one I wanted to share is Rebel Ridge. And so that one is with Aaron
I
Pierce,
fell asleep
the
on it
young man.
last night.
Do you? Girl, I watched it twice in one night.
It started off
Yeah,
kind of
and
slow
it.
for me.
But you just gotta. It does, but it picks up, and it's really, really good because in both of these, I will say they're not like black shows or a black movie. It's just a good movie with a black lead. You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate that we're getting there. And so also, but like, honey, he's so ripped and he fine. Like, how did you? That wasn't enough to get. Roll your eyes if you want to. Okay, judge your mama, Leland. This man is very attractive, very well built. He was bringing you with like the maneuvers, taking folks
So did you watch
down.
it twice for the movie or did you watch it twice for the muscles?
I,
I'm
I watched it
just-
the first time, and then I was still up. At this point I was trying to do some work, and I didn't feel like trying to find something else to watch. So I just was like, okay, let me put it on replay. I didn't get all the way through it the second time, but it was just kind of the background noise while I was cranking out some late night action. On was that Friday night? But that's what I said. But it was good enough that I would sit there and like watch it again. But I also like kind of like
Same.
action movies. It was giving you the action. It gave you, like a little bit of the reality of being black in America, no matter where you are, no matter what you be minding your own business, okay? Just trying to do some good for your people. And in this one, he gets into a little entanglement with law enforcement in a very small town. And basically they done fucked around and found out because he's like military, and he is very good on all of the things. You know what I'm saying? Like hand to hand combat, like the like just taking everybody out with the one guy type
so
of
he like
thing. And
Rambo.
so he's like his little one man army, and he like has to rain down on this small town just to like let them know like what it is and what it ain't. But also like he has good character story, like a little background that they give you as well. And he commits to the role. And then again, he got some friends that he kind of comes across in this situation as well. So those would be two that I definitely tell you: strong male black leads. Love that because we love black men, yay! And then for honorable mention, it's the Supremes who like eat at Earl's All You Can Eat. It came out a couple of weeks ago, and this one has a really strong cast as well. You have Ingenue, you have Uzo, and from Orange is the New Black. Okay, and then you have Sanaa Lathan, and so they give like a really great story. This one you cry a little bit, kind of like fried green tomatoes or like the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants type of thing. Just a really good like girl flick. But Leland, I think you could probably pull something from it too. So those are my picks.
I'll find a
Now
date
the
and watch
other
it
one,
with her.
baby. Okay, so Deliverance is on the list, and I've seen people on social media like weighing in on it. For me, it was like a to watch, not to watch, and I have not watched it. Did anybody catch that one yet?
uh,
London.
The Deliverance. Yes.
Okay, give us your opinion.
So let me tell you, I thought it was actually kind of good. I'm not into horror films. I don't like scary movies for the record, but I didn't think it was that bad. I really, felt like it was a message, and while religion was a tool used to convey a message, I felt like it could be applied to many of the things in life. For me, when I watched it, obviously, um not to give away the movie, the family is dealing with a lot, specific from the mom, generational trauma that they are dealing with. And a lot of times, generational traumas and issues bring out the worst in us, which spiritually could be the devil's work. And whichever way you want to look at it. So until you address these issues or give these or let these issues go and address them in a real way, they're going to continue to destroy you, your family, and yourself. And so that is kind of the correlation I got with the movie Deliverance. And it obviously, because it's a movie, is a very exaggerated, more horror film type of way of simply pretty much from what I took is that your generational demons will eat you alive.
I've heard similar things, and somebody else is saying like the cuts that they're giving you make it seem more like horror-y, like the demon possession thing, than you actually get when you watch the
I completely
movie.
agree.
So that's why you watch the
It
movie.
was it was very and I don't like scary movies, but it was very digestible for me. And I watched it at
Okay.
6 a.m. in the morning by myself. Um,
Mhm.
so
Well, look, I'm on Leland's on this one. I was like, okay, even if I do watch it, I'm not about to watch it by
yeah,
myself.
I'm
Like,
definitely not watching it at 6 a.m. What you
I
got
woke up
going on in
early.
life that you up watching horror films at 6 a.m.?
I know for real. Like, let me tell you how it happened. I woke up early. It was a last weekend. I woke up early and I was scrolling on Facebook, and then I saw I think Tamron Hall, the TV host or somebody famous, put up, "Woo Lee Daniels' new movie Deliverance." Man, so I'm like bored. So I turn on Netflix and I'm like, oh, this is the first movie. It looks like people been watching. I'm gonna turn it on.
okay. So it was before you knew the
I didn't know
context
really
of
what it
what they
was. I just saw a horror
okay.
film. I said, black horror film. I said, let me see what this is. And I
Got
ended
it.
up
Got
liking
it.
it.
So also on like what we've been binging, it's football season officially started. Leland, thank you for taking yourself away from the
I know I can't
TV
get my
to
Look,
baby
hey,
check.
back
look, because the Lions is playing right now. Like, what y'all don't know
I
is
know I was
Michigan is
gonna
lit right
say
now. Detroit is shaking right now. I'm 100% sure. Well, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure the Lions are doing their thing. But shout out to football season for officially getting underway. Started on Thursday. Then they had a game on Friday. College football was wild. Hmm?
the Friday night football is a new thing.
I don't think it's going to continue to be a thing. I think it was just like this is opening week. They got some extra funds to like make sure that people watch football all weekend long. I think that's more so what it is. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so it's not every Friday. It was just this
Yeah, it
this
was
first
just
week.
this first Friday. I don't think that this is a because if so, I'm in for because it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday for college football, Sunday, Monday. I don't know. It's gonna be a
A lot of
thing.
men gonna lose their wives and girlfriends with
Hey,
this
look.
football schedule.
Hey,
But no,
ladies, if you
that's why
want a successful man, I need you to be able to watch. You ain't got to learn, you ain't got to understand it. You ain't got to talk football lingo. But I need you to be able to sit down next to your man in the jersey on Sundays and watch that football game. But if you want a success, you want a nice high quality man, you gotta learn how to play football. You gotta learn how to watch
That's
football,
my
not
man
play,
told
just
me. He
watch.
was like, "Football is back, baby. Like it is what it
Hey,
is."
football is back, baby.
And that's the
You want
thing.
me
I
home
feel
instead of
like
at the
guys
bar?
really do the warning. Like guys will tell their girls, okay, look, like we need to sit down. Let's have a talk. This is the one time the guys are like, okay, babe, we got to talk. Okay, because usually when a guy hears I gotta talk, he panicking like, oh my god. Da, da. So this is where dudes be like, okay, babe, we gotta talk because it's football season. So this is me like, no to this, no to this. Don't talk to me the rest on Sundays, like had a meal ready. We gonna watch it together. We gonna go to the like it is a serious thing. And usually, like okay, Leland, and I'm not asking you to speak for all men, but do guys usually have more of an allegiance to like NFL or college, or is it really like you gonna do all of it?
So it's like college football is Saturday, NFL is Sunday and Monday and Thursday.
And Thursday,
So it's not necessarily like allegiance to one or the other. I think that it is one you watch them play in college football, and so then you want
and
to see how they do, how they transition into like the pros. So like same thing
okay,
with I feel like WNBA. I wasn't a huge fan of WNBA before this season. I mean, I've watched it before. I'm a huge fan of Candace Parker and like other high name WNBA players. However, before this season, I wasn't like actively watching WNBA, but seeing Caitlin Clark and what is
Angel,
it? Angel,
Angel.
yeah, Angel Reese and her other teammate from Brazil, and like all the other. There were so many great players in women's NCAA basketball this year that I am now watching them in the league just because I want to see them continue. So I do think that it's not like one or the other. I think that is you've seen them play in college, and then you want to see how they transition into the professional game.
I love to hear that. I didn't realize like that, you know what I'm saying, there was a correlation that was that strong, but that was part of the conversation for last season is that the girls are dominating in college
Oh, yeah.
basketball. Like that was all the rave. And so also shout out to Angel because she's out for the rest of the season with an injury, but like sis understood the assignment. She came to do what she was supposed to do. She done already broke the records. It was for like the most rebounds
Yeah.
or something. And so and then she said like now I actually get to take a minute to like like heal myself but just also a mental break, which I think is really good that we can call out that all the work, all the accolades, all that, but like if you're not good then you really can't be at your best. And so finding the balance in life, everybody's like so millennial to say work life balance, but find what that does mean for you. But yes, shout out to the girlies who was bringing it for the season. And then, yes, now we know, thank you for the PSA that ladies, if you got a man, you got Monday night, you got Thursday night, you got Saturday all day. But then girls do, I think, for college football, it's like, okay, now I could be at the house all day and I gotta worry about him calling me. I ain't gotta worry about him texting me. Like I can go hang out with the girls. It's brunch, it's shopping, it's a movie. Like you have a whole day to yourself because he's gonna be glued to the TV. And then on Sunday, yeah, with like daytime and then evening.
Yeah, and I think like you said, I can't speak for all men, but I do think that for like college football, that's more the guys' thing. Pro football, I wouldn't mind like me and my girl chilling on a Sunday. Like Saturday, I'm not really trying to watch college football with my lady. I don't know why that's a thing, like why that's an actual feeling. But as far as like Sunday football, I'd be cool with like Sunday being bay chilling, watching football together. So,
Okay, okay. That's cute. Okay, so Leland, is there anything else that we need to be aware of on like this season to like look out for, or is that
uh,
all the girls need to know?
I mean, Patrick Mahomes look good. That's all I'm gonna say. Like, I don't know if that means he gonna win him another Super Bowl or not, but Patrick Mahomes looked really good on Thursday. The Tennessee Titans took a L today, so that's difficult. Um, but fantasy football, ladies, that's another thing to get into. Learn a little bit of lingo. Just talk that to your man. I promise you, it's gonna make him come home a little faster.
Mhm. Noted, noted. Take notes, girls. Take
Fantasy
notes. Okay,
football.
wait. Before we get to the football thing, though, can we just talk about this for a second? What is going on with your boy Travis? What has
I
happened? I
I
do not recognize this
He
man.
switched up the look. Hey, look, he was getting too many people calling him about that fade. Oh, my phone literally just died. That is wild.
But you like turned around. We can still see you and hear you. Okay, so while Leland is getting that together, like Travis was such a cutie before, and like now I don't. It's the haircut. It's
He's
like
transitioning. He's transitioning to
okay,
a new
okay.
style, new look. We just go roll with him. As long as the talent still say the same.
That's fine, but we had to give him back. Like, you know what I'm saying? He was at the cookouts and stuff. Like, you know what I'm saying? He was at the graduation parties and stuff. And like now, not no more. And it just happened so fast, so abruptly. Like he didn't even really transition into that thing. He just jumped in the deep end. And I was just like,
He
oh,
just
okay.
jumped straight into it.
Like that black girl effect is
I,
real and it just does volumes for you. And I hate that we just couldn't, hold on to that because it serves you well, sir. And if you listen,
I love it.
change the hair. Keep the one you with, but just like the hair. I think it's really the
It's just
hair.
the hair.
What?
It's the aesthetics for me. You know what it sound like? I don't know if you. I went down a rabbit hole one day and started watching this show on YouTube called "Pop the Balloon" or "Find Love." When you said that, it just remind me of that show. I won't go into that show right now, but that's what it reminded me of.
No, I so and now like I've never seen an actual show. I just kind of see the clips on like IG and stuff. And some of the comments on it is like also hilarious, but it's like this is what the society has come to. Like literally you walk in and like it's just the pop, the pop, the pop. Or like now that in emojis, like you send like a little red balloon and it's just like, sir, don't talk to me. Like I am not here for it. But yeah, that is just really, really unfortunate. And Travis, we're gonna miss you. It was a nice run while what I'm
Why
saying you was
lasted?
riding. But child, yeah, we didn't give you back, honey. You chosen where you want to be. All right. We wish the best for you over there. Okay, okay. Um, Okay, so the last thing I think on the entertainment side is like, are there any concerts or anything that you're like looking forward to, or anything on the music tip that like an album release or anything like that?
I will say I want to give a shout out to Big Lotto. Like I'm a Lotto fan from when she was Mulatto to now Lotto. Like she put
Yeah,
out a real quality rap album the other week, and I felt like I haven't seen the acknowledgement of the quality of the production. So I just want to take this moment to shout out this bad baddie and all of her efforts as well.
I like Lotto too. Like, and honestly, like all of her albums, I fool with because there's certain things like I just can't really listen to.
Right.
No offense, like it's just too much for me, and I never get that with Lotto. Like that's my call me Big Mama.
Period.
Okay, yeah.
Period.
Yes. But I will say, like, for this generation, I feel like Lotto brings it, Glow brings it. Like, I can ride with Glow all day. Also, shout out for getting the key to the city.
Hello.
901 girl.
901 in
Yep,
this
yep, yep.
thing.
Meg, like, she always gives you really good content, quality, like
And she
music.
can rap.
Like that.
They all can.
hmm
Like not they not no Ice Spice who just I don't know what she is, but these women actually got talent. So shout out to the
Yeah,
ladies.
they're lyricists.
Period.
Yes. And serving the glam because they like, you know what I'm saying? And that's what I said for especially, and I love Glow's Glow Up because when you look at like where we started to where we are now, like so cute, so cute. And Lotto, you know what I'm saying? it's like the mix of like keeping it classy,
Very
but like
demure, very mindful, very classy.
yes, yes, yes. So actually, I didn't realize she had a new album. My daughter, like, I was like doing something with her, and oh, we were in the car, and I was like, oh, okay, Spotify, put this in rotation. So then I had to watch it. So, I mean, or listen to it. So yes, definitely agreed on that. Definitely agreed. And I love how they like they're
Right.
friends. You know what I'm saying? It's not that like divisive thing, and like everybody's like a girl's girl. I love that too.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Mhm.
Shout out to the ladies. Just keep dominating the game.